Hey, I've got an MSA here, and what I want to show you today is how to assess the rules that underpin a playbook before you use it. So with the Law Insider add-in, you get access to a load of standard playbooks. These are expert-created playbooks that have either been built by lawyers, me, or built on the basis of our standard templates, such as one NDA, one DPA, one SAS, etc. But for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to show you what I mean by using on the basis of the MSA playbook. Right, so if you go to the standard playbooks, you can hit these three dots here, and what happens is that you're allowed to view the rules that make up this playbook. So before you go ahead and review a playbook against review a contract against a standard playbook, you can assess the rules to see if you agree with them. Now what happens is that you'll get a list of all the rules that make up this playbook, and these are based on kind of best practice. They're not based on your preferences. However, what you can do is amend this playbook so that it directly suits your preferences, and when you save your changes, then these will be applied across all the contract reviews that you do in the future. So if, for example, you want to look at the limitation of liability and you decide that 12 months is actually not right, in fact you want 18 months of fees paid or payable, then you just make that change here. And then in future, whenever you use this playbook to review a contract, it will pick up anything that is not 18 months and suggest a red line to bring it into line with your rules. Here you can also choose whether you want the change that's being flagged to be a red line or a suggestion. A red line means that the tool will suggest language that you can hit apply on to amend the agreement directly. Now, some customers of ours use playbooks to in-source work or to delegate work to teams that are not part of the legal team. And in that instance, they don't want people making red lines to agreements, but what they do want is for those people to flag stuff to legal if it comes up, in which instance you can choose suggest. Now, you can also choose suggest if you're not that precious about a certain type of agreement, but you just want to know what the risks are so that you can make an assessment there and then, or even push it back to the other side to ask them to make the change. So if you think of suggestion as a red flag and a red line as an actual suggested language that you're going to implement in your agreement, that's the best way to differentiate. The other thing that you can do, and most of our playbooks do not have this enabled automatically because we know that some people love leaving comments. I think it's great practice to leave comments because you eliminate that second round of negotiation when you send over an agreement to the other side with an unexplained red line. What you're doing is inviting them to ask you why you made the red line. So what you could do is enable comments. Comments will only be applicable when you choose a red line, of course, because you won't get a comment unless you've actually made a change to the agreement, and you might say our liability cap needs to be limited to 18 months of fees paid or payable prior to the event giving rise to a claim. Okay, you might want to write a better one than that, then you save your changes, and that then becomes the default rule within your playbook. And so on. You can go through the rules of the playbook and you can also just amend them. What you could do too, if you wanted to, is just delete the entire review, the entire review item, or if you just didn't want it to be active, but you might want to keep it for future, you can just switch it off completely so that when the playbook runs, it just won't run on that rule. And then you save the changes. And you then save and run your playbook, and you will get an overview of how your agreement fares against your playbook that you have just amended to align with your preferences. Now let's look at the limitation of liability. It has been changed to 18 months of fees paid or payable, which is exactly what we told it to do. And that's it. Thanks.